have you ever caught yourself thinking, is this all there is now? Like the best chapters of your life have already been written, and what's left is just a quiet fade out. If that thought has ever crossed your mind, I want you to pause right here and take a deep breath, because you're not fading out. You're entering one of the most powerful, freeing, and vibrant seasons of your life. Yes, even in your 70s, especially in your 70s, this isn't about pretending to be young again. This is about reinventing what it means to grow older. Because age doesn't limit joy, passion, or purpose. If anything, it sharpens it. So today, we're diving into something incredibly close to the heart. How to reinvent yourself at 70 by embracing new passions that can make your golden years not only fulfilling, but exciting. We'll explore hobbies, travel, creativity, learning, and how to say yes to yourself in a way you might not have dared before. So, let's start with something that often gets brushed aside once the working years are over: your sense of purpose. You might have spent decades taking care of others, raising a family, building a career. But what if this stage of life is your time to focus on you? Let's talk about discovering a passion you may have never explored before. Maybe you always wanted to paint, to write poetry, to learn the guitar, or dance without worrying about what people might think. This isn't a fantasy. It's your reality now, if you let it be. You have the time, and most importantly, you have the freedom. Unlike before, there's no rush to master it. You're learning for joy, not for grades or promotions. That's the beauty of starting now. I remember speaking with a woman named Nafisa, who picked up watercolor painting at 72. She had never held a paintbrush before, not once, but she always admired nature and wanted to capture it in her own way. Within a few months, not only had she filled her home with her art, but she started selling her pieces at a local craft fair. Her hands weren't as steady as they used to be, but her passion was fierce. That spark you see in others, you have it too. Maybe it's buried under years of routine or self-doubt, but it's there. And speaking of spark, travel is another way to light it again. You don't have to go far or spend big. Sometimes, a weekend trip to a nearby village, a train ride to a historical town, or even exploring hidden gems in your own city can feel like an adventure. Travel isn't just about ticking off destinations, it's about reconnecting with your sense of wonder. Seeing things with new eyes. Meeting people you would never meet sitting at home. There's something about being in a new place that reminds us we're still alive, still learning, still becoming. You don't have to wait for someone to go with you. Go solo, join a senior travel group, or bring along a grandchild. You'll be surprised how stepping into a different environment shifts something inside you. It tells your brain and your heart that life isn't finished gifting you new moments. Now, let's talk about creativity. This isn't just about painting or writing. Creativity lives in the kitchen, in gardening, in storytelling, in the way you dress, or the way you organize your day. It's any time you add your own twist to something. It's and the amazing thing is being creative actually boosts mental clarity and reduces stress. Studies show that older adults who engage in creative activities feel more purposeful and connected to life. You're not too old to start anything, you're just seasoned enough to make it truly meaningful. Take Yusuf, for example. He was 75 when he began baking bread from scratch. He started out of boredom during retirement, but quickly fell in love with the feel of dough in his hands and the smell of freshly baked loaves. Before long, he began gifting his bread to neighbors, then hosting weekend baking lessons in his backyard. What started as curiosity became connection. That's what passion does. It fills your life with moments that matter. Sometimes people ask, but what if I'm not good at it? And to that I say, who cares? You don't have to be good to be fulfilled. You just have to start. The joy is in the trying, the laughter when things don't go as planned. It's a surprise when they do. And here's something else. Learning a new skill doesn't just feel good, it's good for your brain. Whether it's learning how to use new technology, speaking a few words of a new language, or even taking an online class on something you've always been curious about. Every time you challenge your mind, you're keeping it sharp and agile. You're proving to yourself over and over that growth has no expiration date. So maybe this is the part where you pause and ask yourself, what have I always wanted to try, but never did? Was it writing a book? Starting a small, home-based business? Volunteering for a cause you believe in? Whatever comes to your heart, first, trust that little whisper. That's not silly. That's your spirit nudging you. And what's beautiful about being in your 70s is, God, that no one's watching with expectations anymore. You get to define your own success, okay? You don't have to win awards, go viral, or build a brand. You just have to do it for you, because you've earned that right. This part of your life isn't a slow walk toward the end. Is a brand new beginning if you choose to see it that way. You're not here just to pass time. You're here to fill it, color it, stretch it, and shape it into something that feels truly yours. You might be thinking, it sounds inspiring, but I don't really know where to begin. That hesitation is completely normal. Starting anything new at any age feels uncertain, but that's also what makes it powerful. The secret is to begin small, one step, 1 hour, one class, one new decision, and one of the simplest, most fulfilling steps you can take. Learning something new, not to impress anyone, not to add a line to your resume, but to awaken parts of you that have been quietly waiting. Whether it's learning a new language, trying your hand at digital photography, or simply figuring out how to use your phone better, every small skill adds a new layer of confidence and excitement to your life. Take Farzana, a 73-year-old grandmother who never used a computer in her life. Her grandson gifted her a tablet one Eid, and at first, she left it untouched. Too complicated, she'd say. But little by little, with his help, she learned how to use YouTube, how to video call, and how to read Urdu poetry online. Now, she sends voice notes and has even started a tiny WhatsApp group for her old college friends. Learning tech gave her a new bridge to the world and, more importantly, to herself. That's the beauty of this age. You don't need to rush. You can explore gently, curiously. The point isn't perfection, it's presence. Staying engaged with life, okay? Even when it changes shape around you. Another passion that often blooms beautifully in these years is storytelling. Yes, your own story matters. Whether you write it down, record it, or share it over a cup of tea, life experiences are not just memories, they're treasures. Have you ever thought about writing a memoir or sharing your journey through voice notes or vlogs for your grandchildren? Okay, it doesn't have to be fancy or polished, okay? It just needs to be you. There's something incredibly healing in telling your story. You give meaning to the path you've walked and offer wisdom to those just beginning theirs. Think of it as leaving a legacy of lessons, love, and laughter, a bridge between generations, a gift. And while we're on the topic of gifts, giving back in any way can be one of the most soul-satisfying things you do in your golden years. Volunteering isn't just about charities, about connection. It's about knowing you still have something valuable to offer. Whether it's tutoring children, mentoring a young entrepreneur, or visiting a local community center to share your time, you will find that helping others is one of the best ways to help yourself. To talk service, bring structure, purpose, and relationships. You don't need to change the world. Just light one candle for someone else. And in doing so, you might just find your own heart glowing a little brighter. You see, the biggest myth about aging is that life becomes narrow, that your days shrink, your roles diminish, your options vanish. But the truth is the opposite. Life expands when you stop living by other people's definitions and start creating your own. You get to decide what your days look like. You get to choose what matters now. So maybe today is the day you pick up that sketchbook or sign up for that local cooking class. Maybe it's the day you pull out your old camera or finally plant the little herb garden you've always wanted. Or maybe it's the day you forgive yourself for the time you think you lost and simply begin again. Because reinvention doesn't mean becoming someone else. It means reconnecting with the deepest parts of who you are. It means choosing joy on purpose. It means realizing that you're still growing, still becoming, still blooming even now. You might be surprised how much your energy shifts when you start living with curiosity instead of obligation. When you make space in your life for what excites you, even just a little, it starts to change the air around you. You wake up not just to another day, but to a day you've designed. A day that reflects you. And if you ever feel silly or unsure, remember, this isn't about being young again. It's about being alive still, fully, boldly, beautifully. This is your time. You're not behind. You're right on time for something new. And maybe, just maybe, the most unexpected part of reinventing yourself at this stage is how deeply it reconnects you with joy. Joy isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, like a morning cup of tea, enjoyed slowly, with music playing in the background. Or the thrill of finally figuring out how to send an email with an attachment. Or the laughter that bubbles up during your first dance class in decades, when your feet forget the steps, but your heart remembers how to feel free. That's the thing, passions don't have to be grand. They just need to be yours. And when you embrace them, they bring color to your days. They make life feel textured again, rich with emotion and purpose. Some people fear aging because they believe it means the end of change. But change is the very thing that keeps us alive inside. You don't stop changing unless you choose to, eh? And there's so much beauty in choosing change, not because you have to, okay? But because you can. Let's not forget the power of connection. Finding a new passion often introduces you to new people. People who share your interests, your energy, your humor. Whether it's a small painting group, a book club, a gardening society, or an online forum where you talk about birds, books, or baking, it matters. Human connection is a passion in itself, and it gets even richer with age, because you learn to value presence over pretense. You no longer need large crowds or fast-paced friendships. Few deep, meaningful conversations can brighten an entire week. Passion often lives in that connection, in shared smiles, shared goals, and shared purpose. Even a simple walk around your neighborhood can be a doorway to connection if you're open to it. Maybe you greet someone new today. Maybe you start a conversation about that potted plant outside their door. Maybe a few weeks later, you're sipping tea together. Reinventing yourself isn't about doing something flashy. It's about being more you than ever before and sharing that with others. And if you feel discouraged, if your health feels like it holds you back, or your family doesn't quite understand what you're trying to do, that's okay too. Reinvention is often quiet. At first, it doesn't need applause or approval. It just needs courage. The courage to say, I still have dreams. Even when others forget to ask about them. I want to gently remind you, you are not finished. Your voice is still needed. Your ideas still matter. Your passions are still relevant. Don't let the world convince you that you're past your prime. The truth is, this might just be your prime, but it takes your permission to make it so. Now, let's take a moment. Just sit back and imagine your life filled with little joys. A sketchpad on your side table, a calendar with travel dates or class schedules, phone calls with people who light you up, letters you've written, poems you've read, photos you've captured. It's a scent of a new recipe baking in your oven. It's the way your eyes light up when you talk about it. That's not just imagination. That's potential. It's you waiting, ready, alive. And here's the beautiful truth. You don't have to do everything. Start with one thing, one interest, one step, and let it grow from there. Because often, it's the first step that's the hardest and the most important. So, if this message sparks something in your heart today, if you felt Even the tiniest nudge to try something new, to feel something again, follow that. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to begin. And if you're sitting there thinking, "This really spoke to me," I want you to know you're not alone. There are thousands of others, just like you, who are waking up to this truth, that aging is not the end of the story. It's the start of a new chapter. And you hold the pen. If any part of this video touched your heart, please take a moment to leave a comment. Share your thoughts, your story, or even the one passion you've been thinking about exploring. Let's inspire each other. Let's build a community where aging means growing, glowing, okay, and giving. And if you found this message helpful or uplifting, hit the like button. Share it with someone you care about, a parent, a neighbor, anyone who might need a little reminder that their best days are still ahead. Don't forget to subscribe for more real, warm, and empowering content designed just for you. This is your spatial reminder that you still belong, you still matter, and you still have so much to give. So here's to you. Here's to new beginnings. Here's to dancing in your kitchen, laughing with new friends, learning something wild and wonderful. Here's to the art, the beauty, the wisdom, and most of all, it's the freedom of being unapologetically you. Because you're not just living, you're reinventing life. And I hope you fall in love with every single moment of it.